Okay, so I want to talk about the thing that surprised me the most when I joined real estate as an agent, and that was the politics involved. Now, this isn't the case for every area in New Zealand. For some areas, like the one I was in Lower Hutt, it was pretty bad. I know that in Auckland, some of the other bigger centres, you might not struggle with this as much just because there's so much overlap between different offices or even the same franchise. But for me personally, I had just no idea the politics involved in real estate and how broken it is. So let me tell you a story. At my very first open home, the very first buyers that walked in the door were some first home buyers. Now, they had been to tons of open homes, are pretty tired, and turns out they didn't actually like the home that I was showing. So I decided, look, let's have a look at some of the other properties that we have in our agency, do a bit of a tiki tour. I'll take you around all of them, and if you like some of them, then we can move forward. They didn't like any of them. So my next step as a new agent was, well, obviously we don't have all the market share. There's plenty of other property out there, and if you like working with me, I can take you around, we could do some viewings, and I can find you a house to buy, right? So I'm just going under a bridge. Anyway, so I look on Trade Me with them, find some that they like. I pick up the phone to call an agent who's with another office, and I ask, hey, I've got some buyers, they're pretty keen to come see property. Would you be open to doing a conjunctional? Which means I get a fee for selling them the house that belongs to another agent. And his words to me verbatim were, sorry mate, that's just not how we do things. Now that just blew my mind. And it was at that moment where I realized the scale of the problem, because I wasn't actually able to serve these buyers with another agency because they were gatekeeping their listing. Now sure, I could just send the buyers their way. They could pick up where I left off. But the truth was that they were actually, we'd build a relationship. They were keen to work with me. And the thing about real estate is that you try not to work for free as much as possible. So, I was keen to get paid for the work I was doing. But the other agency, or these other agents, weren't keen. And I don't know if that was strictly that agent. What I do know is that agencies did have policies where they didn't encourage conjunctionals. Now, with this new agency we're starting here, things like that, they just won't exist. We will have a strict policy where every agent in your area can sell your listings and get paid for it. So currently we're workshopping the name Open List. This will be open for all agencies within Only. And I just think it's such a no-brainer. One of the big kickbacks that new agencies get is that you're listing with a smaller agency. You don't have that large pool of agents that can sell your stuff. But what if we could say to every vendor, when you list here, you list everywhere. Every agent in the city can bring buyers and get paid. I actually don't know any real estate agency in New Zealand that openly promotes that. So it's just like such an easy win for the vendor, easy win for the agent, an easy win for other agents that have buyers. You think about how much more exposure you can get on Trade Me even with promoting the fact that this listing is open for conjunctionals. So there's so many other ways that politics creeps into real estate, but that was the first time I realized how bad the problem was and one of the reasons why we want to fix it.